Everyone, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to join us this evening to our Leading Residency Program series. So we will be discussing the following contents. So we're going to give you a bit of an overview about Henley and Partners, the world of investment migration. Then we will run through the different popular residency programs that we have. Malta Permanent Residency Program, the Greece Golden Visa Program, Italy Residency by Investment, Latvia Residency by Investment as well. Then we will move to Portugal Golden Residency Permit. We will have our colleague Peter discuss the tax services offered by Henley and Partners, and we will move on to the education services offered by Henley and Partners. We will have a quick Q&A session at the end of the webinar. Throughout the webinar, my colleagues, depending on your queries, will try their best to answer your questions related to their programs. So about Henley and Partners, Henley and Partners have been advising clients and governments for many years. When it comes to advising clients, we are helping high net worth individuals and entrepreneurs to acquire one or more alternative residences and/or citizenships around the world. So we offer residency and citizenship advisory. We also offer real estate services to our clients, education, as well as the concierge services. When it comes to government advisory, we do strategic consulting, design, setup, and operations, and promotion of residency and citizenship programs for countries worldwide. So residency and citizenship program design, program setup and operation, application processing and due diligence, and global positioning and promotion. As you can see, we have our global presence. We have quite a lot of offices. We've reached around 70 so far that are set up in North America, the Caribbean, Europe, Asia, Latin America, Africa, and the Middle East, and last but not least, Oceania. A bit about the firm. As mentioned previously, we have reached 70 offices worldwide. We have 60 different options of investment migration. We have advised so far 20 governments, and we've been in the industry as the leader for the past 25 years with 25,000 clients and foreign direct investment raised about 15 billion US dollars. So the world of the investment migration, residency by investment, the term residency by investment was coined by Henley and Partners and described the policies of countries that grants residency permit to foreign persons to make capital contributions to the country. So several countries have programs in place to attract foreign high net worth individuals to the countries in return to a residency. The programs are used to encourage wealthy foreign investors to reside in the countries we will be discussing. So the leading residency and citizenship programs, as you can see, today we'll be discussing Europe, out of which Greece, Malta, Latvia, Portugal, Italy as well. And we cover quite a wide range of countries through different residency and citizenship programs. So the residency by investment programs, we are going to start with Malta. For the simple reason that today we are lucky enough to have Vicky Spiteri, the head of marketing and business development of Residency Malta Agency, join us. So Vicky is part of the team of the Residency Malta Agency that processes all application related to the MPRP program. So as a country overview, beautiful Malta is a small and very advanced nation, which is situated in the Mediterranean. And it's quite a well-kept secret. It's a beautiful place to live in. I've been myself settled here for the past 16 years, and I can tell you that it is a very pleasant place to be. So the EU country of Malta has risen to be one of Europe's leading investment locations, driven by its reputation for stability, predictability, and security. Henley and Partners, to be able to operate with Residency Malta Agency, has been registered as an agent. So you can see here our registration as an agent. Malta has a population of, I would say, around soon not 600,000. I believe our figures are wrong here. Vicky reminded us previously. So the languages that are spoken mainly on the island are Maltese and English. You would hear everybody speaks English, which makes it very easy to settle. The economy is advanced and innovation driven, and the currency used in Malta is the euro. So the key benefits of applying for a permanent residency in Malta is that you get visa-free access to all countries in Europe's Schengen area. It is a residency in an EU member state that is neutral, stable, and highly respected. You will have the right to reside and settle and stay in Malta. Applicants would also have the opportunity to include their parents, a spouse, and dependent children to their application. We have a Mediterranean climate and a very friendly population. Malta is always conveniently and strategically located with excellent sea and air links to Europe, Asia, and North America. So I will pass the floor to Vicky, who will be sharing her presentation with us, and then we will take over from there.
Slideshow. Is it shared? Where's the slideshow? So good evening, everybody. Thank you very much, Serene, for your introduction. Just bear with me. I'm trying to set out slideshow. Somehow it's eluding me. Okay, here we go. Thank you very much. And thank you for the invitation of being with you here this evening. Mine is a technical presentation, and I kept it high level because of the time constraints. We believe that the MPRP is one of the more popular European RBIs, and this is based on 3 reasons. Basically, it's the jurisdictional strength of Malta as a country. The second reason is the value and the benefits that our program offers, and also the smooth application process. I won't repeat much about Malta because you've given us a very good introduction. What I do want to remind the audience is of our attractions, Malta's attractions for both investors and families who want to relocate. So Malta is one of the safest countries in the world and very family friendly. English is an official language, so it is also the language to do business. Government offers e-services in English. The university teaches in English, so that is a big attraction for many foreigners coming to Malta, and settling in is easy. We have a very strong economy. We punch above our weight, and we're always in the top rungs when it comes to fast-growing economy among our EU peers. Politically stable country with obviously a great climate right in the Mediterranean, well connected with daily air and sea links to major European cities and the MENA region. And we're also very business friendly. So the government has quite a few entities set up. Quite a few entities set up to help foreign investors either open their new business in Malta or scale or invest. So we're quite geared up to do that. Apart from that, we have top class and reputable educational institutions and also health services. A bit about the MPRP. The MPRP has been established since 2016 with a strong legal basis, and it's run by us as an agency. And last but not least, our reputation, we believe, is based on our integrity and transparency, and also our stringent due diligence. Those of you who know the Malta program well know how seriously we take our due diligence, and we conduct checks on each and every individual in each and every application. And we really believe that our reputation is based on this core tenet. The MPRP is a very straightforward program. It's based on an investment in property and the contribution to the government. Then there is a small donation to an NGO and an admin fee. You can't get more straightforward than that. I will not go into the eligibility criteria or the financial breakdown. However, suffice to remember that the starting financial outlay is from 169,000 for a family with children if one takes the lease option. We are currently approving in 4 months, which is extremely competitive when compared to other programs, of course, without compromising our due diligence. And the residency is permanent and lifelong. So basically from day one, it is an indefinite residency. Two new features which we've introduced this July is basically the option to lease a purchased property if it is in a special designated area, and subleasing of your leased property after 5 years. And this gives more flexibility to the investor and also maximizing return on investment. And also a new option that when an applicant submits the application, they may immediately apply for a temporary residency card, which gives them the ability to move to Malta, stay in the medium term, explore the country, explore services, see where they want to invest or where they want to live. And we believe this is quite a game changer and it is proving very popular. The application process is also quite straightforward. Of course, one needs to apply via a licensed agent. After the submission of the application, we conduct the due diligence on the application, and that decision is communicated within 4 months. After the letter of approval in principle is issued, one has 8 months within which to complete the property investment and the contribution requirements, as well as take out the health insurance. When this process is complete, the certificate and the cards are issued. That is mostly it from our end. I leave it in your good hands, Serene. You know the program very well, to take it forward.
Thank you very much, Vicky, and thank you again for taking the time to be with us. So from my end, another few last words about Malta and the process. So as you will see, it's quite repetitive when it comes to our processes because they are always the same. The client would contact Henley & Partners. We conduct our initial due diligence checks. The client agreements are signed and the retainer is settled. Once this is done, we can start working on the temporary residency card, which is optional. Then we start also working on the documents for the main MPRP application, which we will submit to Residency Malta Agency. From their end, they will conduct their due diligence, and this is when we will receive a decision from regarding the application. Then the requirement to fulfill all the medical insurance, Vicky already mentioned it, and any requirements will come along. And this is when, once everything is finalized, we can go ahead and complete a secure a biometrics appointment for our clients, get them to travel to Malta to apply for their residency cards. The residency cards will be issued and we can collect them on behalf of clients and send them to our clients ourselves. So we will be moving to the next beautiful Greece program. So I will leave the floor to my colleague, Vasia.
Hello, everyone from Greece. And yeah, as Serene mentioned, I'm happy to speak with you about our Golden Visa program today. So the Greek Golden Visa program was launched in 2013. So it's been going on for some time now. And as we can see in our next slide here, we have a population of about 10.5 million people. In addition to our beautiful islands here and our cultural landmarks that I'm sure you guys, some of you have been lucky enough to see or know of, Greece is also a very safe and a stable country, part of the European Union. And we have a lifestyle here centered around wellness, family, and community. It's been a very popular destination for investors seeking mobility in general and also a European base. Some of the key benefits of the program include visa-free travel access in the Schengen area. In addition, we have no minimum stay requirement in Greece, but we also have the other end of the spectrum where we have unlimited stay in Greece. So whatever position you are in, if you are someone who does not have in their schedule very much traveling time, there's no reason for you to come to Greece to hold your residency. You will have access to public healthcare and education systems here. We have many private international schools that are of interest for families looking to relocate. And then finally, the one caveat, however, is that you do not have employment rights in Greece with this program. But if you are interested in it, you can open up a company and simply serve as the primary shareholder. So moving on to the investment requirements. Now, our more popular option and the majority of our clients actually pursue the real estate investment route, and these are divided into three categories. So the most affordable investment route for real estate is $250,000, and these are in properties that have been converted from commercial to residential or has been a restoration of a listed building. I will mention here that it's not you, the investor, that needs to undertake this conversion, for example, but rather it is real estate developers here in Greece that have already taken on this construction. So you will simply be purchasing a property that's already been turned into or will be turned into an apartment. And then a win-win opportunity for you is that with real estate, you can also rent out your property should you choose not to live in it. In addition, we've got the 800,000 euro for if you have a higher budget, and these are in residential properties in Athens, Thessaloniki, and the majority of our islands. And then finally, we have the middle ground of 400,000 in properties in all other areas of Greece than the ones I had mentioned previously. If real estate is not your forte, you also have the option to do financial instruments. So, for example, you could invest €500,000 in a Greek domestic bank, or pursue the investment of government bonds or mutual funds. Now, a little bit about the process. The great thing about the Greek Golden Visa program and also Henley and Partners specifically is we can actually do the whole process for you on your behalf. So again, if you have a very busy work schedule or travel is not easy for you, you will simply need to sign a power of attorney at the beginning of the process. And then we take you step by step through the investment process. So once the investment part is completed, so if you choose to pursue real estate, once the entire purchase price has been paid, this is when we move on to the Golden Visa application submission. And finally, after the submission, it is the only step that requires your physical presence here in Greece, and that is the submission of your biometrics. So you will come here, you have a window of 6 months after submission to submit your fingerprints. And then on average, about 3 months after that, you will receive your residence permit in the mail. So overall, Greece has been one of Europe's most attractive residence by investment programs. It's a great option for families also seeking flexibility because the cards also only need to be renewed every 5 years. And if you guys have any further questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fazia. So Italy now. Margarita, I think you will be giving us
Yes,
a good explanation about how it goes.
thank you so much. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're based. It's a pleasure for me to share with you the key benefits of the Italian Residence per Investment Program. Italy is a country with a rich culture and globally recognized tourist destination with the famous cities such as Rome, Milan, Florence, and Venice. The Italian Residence by Investment program was created 8 years ago for foreign investors who are interested to make a significant contribution to the country's economy, granting them Italian residence and visa-free access to the Europe Schengen area. The key benefits of the program. So investment required only on the post-approval stage and when the Italian residence permit is granted. No minimal stay requirement, right to live, work and study in Italy, attractive tax regime, access to the excellent medical care education facilities, the right to apply for Italian citizenship after 10 years of residence, and also possibility to add married spouse and children under 18 years old. Same-sex marriage also acceptable. If we look to the requirements, investors may choose one of the three available investment options: investment of 2 million euros in Italian government bonds, investment of 500,000 in Italian public limited companies, or 250,000 euros for innovative startups. Non-refundable philanthropic donation for 1 million euros in projects of public interest in Italy. For clients who are interested in permanent relocation to Italy without required investment, then Italian elective residence program is available as an option. Individuals should prove their strong and regular passive income at a certain quantity from abroad and maintained for validity of the visa. Process itself is pretty standard for all residency programs processed by Henley & Partners. In general, processing time from application submission date to residence permit card is from 3 to 4 months. All process starts and completes for the main applicant investor first, and only then we start family reunification for all family members. I would like to mark that investment will be needed only once we complete the whole process. Italy is the sole country in Europe which allows you to have your residency card first. We would need to submit your application remotely, then we will receive approval from Investor Visa Committee, then you will have 6 months to visit Italian consulate to obtain your entry investor visa, and after that, that visa will be issued for 2 years, and you may decide when to come for biometrics. We arrange everything on your behalf and accompany you at the immigration office in Italy in any city you would like to. And then once you enter to Italy, you receive your residency card within 30-50 days, and then make the investment. This is one of the attractive options for European residency. First residency card granted for 2 years, and it's renewable for 3 years, with possibility to apply for permanent residency after 5 years holding temporary residency card. And short program overview, minimum investment starting from 250,000 euros in innovative startup. We may assist you with finding the right startup and projects as well, and should be invested only after Italian residence permit is granted. Processing time between 3-4 months since the submission of the application, no minimal stay requirement, free visa travel across the Europe Schengen area, also the right to apply for the Italian citizenship after 10 years of residence, which is in top 3 Henley & Partners passport index. Many thanks and welcome to Italy.
Thank you, Margarita. Now, Niels, we'll let you take over from here with Latvia.
Thank you, Serene. Good evening from Riga, and good morning, good afternoon for those in various different time zones. So I'm happy to admit that Latvia residence program is one of the best-selling programs in Henley & Partners in 2025. And let's go shortly through conditions and advantages of the program to see what makes it so popular and demanded among our clients. So I presume that Latvia, sorry, can we have a previous slide? Thank you. So I presume that Latvia is some kind of an uncharted waters for many of you. So I'll speak some facts about the country itself. So Latvia is one of the 3 Baltic states located on the Baltic Sea coast in the northern part of Europe. And Latvia is a member of European Union, European Council, and NATO member state starting from 2004. Also, our currency is euro from the same year, 2004. Latvia has stable economy and good business environment. The country is ranked 19th in the global index of doing business. Also, Latvia is one of the greenest countries in Europe, and in terms of ecology, we are ranked top 3 in the European Union. Pretty low crime rates is also good about the country. And also we have good and quite affordable universities, and we have a lot of students from all over the world, including United States, India, China, Germany, Sweden, and many other countries. Latvia also has the biggest airport in the region and quite good local airline, Air Baltic. So we are well connected to all main European cities, and it's just 2 to 3 hours flight to any part of Europe. Advantages of the program. So as Latvia is a Schengen area member zone, so with Latvian residency, you can enjoy freedom of travel and stay up to 180 days per year in any other European Union countries. And of course, you can stay unlimited amount of time in Latvia, work, doing business, and study here as long as you want. So no minimum presence is required, but here we come to, I think, the only disadvantage of the program. The annual registration is required. So once a year, you need to enter country to renew your residency card, and it normally takes 1 to 2 working days. Fast track application procedure means that from the very beginning of the process, it takes 4 to 6 months until you collect residency cards. Attractive tax system, especially when it comes to the corporate taxes. So Latvia is a good place to start business in Europe as well. Various languages are widely spoken: English, German, Russian, and of course Latvian itself. After living 4 years in a country, you can apply for a permanent residency. And after 10 years of legal residence, you are able to apply for Latvian citizenship. And now let's move to the investment options and routes how to obtain Latvian residency. By far most popular option is investment of 50,000 euros into the equity capital of small Latvian companies. And here you should additionally pay 10,000 euros to the state budget. And know-how of Henley and Partners is that we identify, check, and create a short list of such companies for our clients to choose where they want to invest. At the same time, it's not a classic type of investment. It means that the firms issue B category shares, and the owners of such shares has no right to vote in decision making in a company, and also they have limited access to the dividends. And important thing here is the exit strategy. If you do not need residency anymore or you obtain permanent residency, therefore, after 5 years of residency, the company guarantee a buyback of shares for half of the initial price. So it means 25,000 euros return to you. And if you go to the 6th to 10th years of residency, the buyback guarantees are at lower amount. It will be 10 to 15,000 euros, depending on the company which you are investing. And here also, I would like to underline one thing which is different in Henley and Partners comparing to many different competitors, is that we do not offer any startup companies and any high-risk businesses. We only speak about small businesses with proven track of records, with a good amount of taxes paid annually. So number one priority for us here is safety of our client funds. Alternatively, applicants can also acquire real estate property in Latvia for the value at least of 250,000 euros and additionally pay 5% state fee, 5% of real estate purchase price. Yes, and what is good about real estate option is that off-plan projects do not qualify for a residency program. This means that you are buying already existing properties newly built and can start to get some income profit from the very next day after your purchase. In Latvia, we have exclusive real estate partner, Saliena Development. We are already working for almost a year with them, and their project is at a really prime location between Riga city center and the airport. And it started to build in 2004. The construction started, and they still add new buildings to this project. Also, they have a golf course, equestrian school, shopping malls, and many different things in this area. As I mentioned, you can rent out your property from the very beginning, and your annual yield will be 5 to 7%, and the capital growth will be 3 to 5% annually. And the property management is fully serviced by the Saliena Development, so it's a one-stop solution, and you do not need to care about the property management anymore. And now I think we come to the process. It's pretty similar to other European residency programs with some minor differences. So after you completed the formalities with Henley & Partners, like signing contract, pass due diligence check, and pay the retainer for our services, we introduce you to owners of various companies where you can invest. So you can study data of these companies, or alternatively, you choose a real estate for purchase. And after the deal is completed and your personal documents are also collected, the case is ready to be submitted. And it can be done in two ways. First way, you can come to Latvia and submit your application in person in a state migration office. And as an alternative, we can offer you to submit your application in the nearest Latvian embassy to you. But still, this submission should be done in person anyway. After the case is submitted, the state review your application from 1 to 3 months. And after it is approved, and we have a success rate over 97% currently for Latvian cases. So after your approval, you have 3 months time to come to Latvia to give biometric, pass medical check, and collect your residency card. And here you go, you have 5 years residency with possibility to prolong it every 5 years. So at the final slide of Latvia part, I will just remind you that it's one of the fastest program in Europe. It's one of the also most affordable program with very low threshold of investment, and also various bonuses like good business environment, ecology, and safety are also added here. In the ranking of passport, Latvia is in top 10, and passport allows you to reach without a visa over 180 destinations. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Niels. Joanna will be taking us through Portugal.
Thank you, Serene. Welcome to all the participants. I'm happy to speak to you about Portugal today, one of the most popular residence programs by investment in the world. Portugal is a very old country with rich history and culture. It's considered one of the most globalized nations, and it's part of the EU for many decades now. And also the safety part, which is very important to any applicant looking to do a residence program in Europe these days. It's ranked in the top 10 countries in the Global Peace Index. And this is, of course, an exciting program for non-EU citizens to obtain a residence permit. and also eligibility to apply for citizenship. Currently, after 5 years, we may see a change in this in the future, but currently the law remains as 5 years after residence with a mandatory stay of only 7 days per year. This country is small, and we do have just over 10 million people. It's a beautiful country nonetheless, with many, many perks. The languages are Portuguese, but we speak English pretty widely. Economy is mostly based in business and manufacturing, and the currency here is the euro. In terms of key benefits of the program, number one being, of course, access to the Schengen area in Europe, visa-free. Eligibility to apply for citizenship, again, as I mentioned, after 5 years in Portugal does allow dual citizenship. There's a low physical presence, again, the 7 days per year or 14 days within the validity of your first card, which will be 2 years, and then 21 days or 7 days per year in your subsequent cards, which are valid for 3 years. The program also allows for family reunification that includes civil and same-gender partners. It has excellent international and Portuguese schools and universities. Many of our clients have chosen to relocate to Portugal for this precisely, and a high quality of life in general, good cuisine, good wines, rich, very old culture, and the climate and level of security are important factors as well when choosing the country. In terms of requirements and investment options for Portugal, number one and most popular is the 500,000 euro option for the acquisition of investment fund or venture capital fund units. And after that, 500K as well established for research activities of public or private entities that are part of the national scientific and technological system. There are many companies for this. And at a lower threshold, 250,000 for the option of contribution for the support of artistic production and the recovery or maintenance of national cultural heritage. There's an interesting perk in this option because if you choose to contribute to a project in an institution that is based inland Portugal, which has a lower density in terms of population, you'd have a discount. And so the very minimum threshold here would be 200,000 instead of 250. Then you'd have the other options which are based in business. So you could eventually create at least 10 new jobs here in Portugal, or 8, again, if applicable, in an area that has low density in terms of population, and 500K for the incorporation of a commercial company that is registered and headquartered in Portugal as well. For the process, similarly to other programs, you of course engage with Henley and Partners. We start the due diligence process. Then the client agreements and contracts are signed and a retainer is paid. And after this, you are officially introduced to the team here in Portugal. We're a big team and big office now due to how popular the program has become. And you'll be assigned a relationship manager that will accompany you throughout the entire process. You should finalize your investment, whatever that is, and then collect personal documents, which again, your relationship manager will be assisting you with before submitting your application, which the lawyers do on your behalf in the online platform. And then after this, you should wait for the acceptance notification by the Portuguese government. Shortly after, you are called for the biometrics appointment where everyone in the family must come to provide their biometric data, which will eventually go in your residence card, and then wait for the final approval by the government, pay for the cards, and then your first card is issued with a 2-year validity period, again, within which period you are expected to spend 7 days a year or 14 days within the card's validity period. So, as a general overview, and as mentioned before, Portugal is incredibly rich in history and culture, considered one of the most globalized and safe nations in the world. Again, top 10 in terms of safety, which is an incredibly attractive factor for someone doing the program. And we do have a government that has been facilitating the process and items in this program to become a little bit more popular than what it is. So we've been working with it since its inception in 2012. Here, the official minimum contribution, as mentioned in the previous slides, is 250,000 euros. Although if you choose to contribute to a low density area in Portugal, this drops to 200,000. So for this amount, you could have your Portuguese golden visa. The Henley Passport Index ranks Portugal in the top 5, accessing 190 destinations or over. And the key benefits is, of course, again, access to Europe Schengen area, eligibility to apply for citizenship after 5 years as it stands today. I will make a mention that the government is currently reviewing and intending to increase the timeline to 10 years, but most importantly, the eligibility itself will not be finished. You will very much be able to apply for citizenship even if after 10 years, and you could apply for permanent residency after 5 years of legal residence through the Golden Visa, which is also a benefit of the program, potentially letting go of your investment as well. And then, of course, not having to live in Portugal. The 7 days a year are the only physical presence requirement, and you can join your entire family on a vertical line, reunified to your same investment and application here in Portugal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joanna. We are going to move to Henley and Partners Tax Services. Peter will be taking over from there.
Okay, well, thank you. I think we've heard a lot in these presentations about residents. So I just think it's always helpful in events like this just to clarify the difference between residents and tax residents, because although they're unhelpfully got very, very similar names, they are two completely different things. So when you get your residence permit, you have the right to live in that country, which you can choose to exercise or choose not to exercise. And you can be there as little as we've heard, as a few days a year, and still retain the right to come and go, which is really, really powerful. It's only when you choose to settle there that you need to worry about tax residence and whether that's going to cost you anything from a tax perspective. And tax residence is typically obtained by being in the country for more than 183 days in the tax year, or having a permanent home or available accommodation in that country. And all the countries we've gone through today have got subtle variations on that test, which we'll come to slightly shortly. You can be resident in more than one country. Most pairs of countries have double taxation agreements, which do specify how you then resolve the treaty, through the treaty resolve which country you're resident of and which country you're non-resident of. Only one country can treat you as resident, which means they will tax you on your worldwide income. Any other country where you've got a source of income, that country can have the first right to tax that income, even for a non-resident, but then the country of residence will then take that into account as well. So being non-resident isn't always enough to avoid being taxed, but it will limit you to just tax on income that's in that country. Many of the investments that you may make for these things will potentially be income generating, particularly if you buy a property and rent it, but often the amounts are quite small and you would only be taxable on the rental income you generate, for example, if that was what you did. So it's quite straightforward to go through these things to work out what your order of taxation is. Firstly, country of source, then country of residence. And if you're American, US citizens have the privilege of paying tax in the US as well, regardless of whether they're resident or not. And that's unique to the US and I think Eritrea in North Korea. So you're in great company there. Occasionally other countries talk about citizenship-based taxation, but it will be incredibly difficult to introduce, but not difficult to scare people with, unfortunately. So if we compare the countries that we've got, then we see they all have residence rule. rather than purely quantitative. So if your main home is in Malta, they can treat you as a tax resident there, which can be good because if you travel a lot or you have interests around the world and you can't make 183 days anywhere, then as long as Malta is the place you come to and from in between your trips, then they would be potentially able to say that that was your main residence. For some people, that is important. Two of the countries there, Greece and Italy, are very popular because they have a flat tax on foreign source income, which means that if you've got capital gains, dividends, interest, investment income around the world, then instead of having to keep track of that and tax it all wherever you end up as resident, you can pay a flat 100,000 euros a year in Greece or 200,000 euros a year in Italy, which is going up to 300,000 next year, but only for applicants after that date usually. And that means that your marginal tax cost goes down to zero, but effectively you're still paying a decent quantity of tax to the government. Now, compared to the normal tax rates, you need an income effectively. If you've got an income of €500,000 a year or more, these things are attractive. And if it's a million or more, they're very attractive. And also it's the simplicity of it, which can also be helpful. Otherwise, you're at the normal tax rates, which 44, 43 in Greece, 31 in Latvia. Nils pointed out Latvia has a great corporate tax system. It doesn't show up as well here for the individuals, but corporate tax, if you're moving your business, can also be useful as well. Malta has a global residence program for non-domiciled people, which can mean only a 15% tax rate, but there is a minimum of 15,000 euros there. So assumed income of 100,000 is another way of looking at that. Portugal does have higher tax rate, but on investment income, so for retirement, Portugal can still be attractive because its investment income rate is 28%. Likewise, Italy and Latvia both have lower rates for investment income as well, although Malta and Greece have the standard rates. But again, with Malta, because of the global residence program, it can be quite effective from that perspective. For people that are looking to retire, some countries tax at normal rates, some have a preferential rate for pensions. Malta is if 75% or more of your income comes from pensions. Italy, it's only if you're in certain locations, which are municipalities with, typically it's a list of places with 20,000 population or smaller, which if you speak Italian can be fine, but for foreigners can be quite intimidating, or great way to learn Italian. Greece is interesting at 7% because that's for pensioners rather than pensions. So once you cross the hurdle of being a pensioner, you can potentially have your investment income taxed at 7% as well, rather than just your pension income. The interesting bit there is they're all different, and so there's something for everybody. So when you're looking at moving to Europe, for example, or you're thinking, well, what is your main source of income, where you want to be from a quality of life perspective, and all of them have subtle differences, and all of them have their advantages from where to live. But I think you're confident with this variety of alternatives, we can never find someone who runs through this and says, no, there's nothing that will suit me. There's always something that will suit along the way. And so just a little bit about how our tax team works with people. We're a specialist unit of Henley and Partners. We found that too many people were saying, well, I'm not sure what program to take because I don't know the tax consequences. So our job is just to come on the call and tell you, find out if you need to worry or not. We can give you personalized review of your own assets and income and identify what might change if you relocate. We can do country by country comparisons and just impartial support to enable your tax advisors to manage that. Many of our clients, if you're at the level where you're spending $1 million or $2 million investing abroad, you may well have a tax advisor already. But if they're in your home country, they maybe don't want to learn every other country and system in the world. So my job is just to, take a different view of that and know enough about all the different countries that we operate in to enable you to make an informed decision. So final slide, why us? Let me say our service is very much designed to complement the other Henley and Partners services and make sure that when you're choosing whichever country you want to live in, you're getting the one that has the right tax system for you, and then we introduce you to the tax advisor in that country before you move there. to make sure that all of your obligations are being taken care of. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter. So we are going to let Tess take over from here for the education services.
Thank you very much, Serene. Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to see you all tonight. You've been learning an awful lot about the European countries addressed here, and we're here to assist families who either relocate or who are looking for impartial education before sending their children across the world to other universities. Very quick overview, what we do, we have our assessment, the HAPA, which allows us to benchmark students against international peers, essential to ensure that we're matching the school or university to the student. Our core service is really the counselling that we offer. We've got a team of global advisors who specialise in their destinations. We have some fantastic European advisors as well. And really what we're all about is ensuring every child thrives in whichever university or school matches them best. And then we have a range of additional services that tend to be taken out by families who want additional support for summer programs or bespoke university tools, or maybe need some specific support for children with special educational needs. But let's talk a little bit more about Europe as an area and a destination. It's very interesting. We're seeing more and more families either relocating and looking for schools, or students who want to study in Europe because it's hugely diverse in its culture. You've heard all about that from everybody talking about the different programs. What's really interesting now is that there are more and more universities delivering English taught degrees. So it's very useful for students who obviously don't have enough native language to be able to study in the various countries in their languages. But it's affordable as well. Now, there has traditionally for a long time, parents have considered and students have wanted to go to destinations like the UK or the US, etc. And in comparison to these type of destinations, it's a very affordable rate. There are some countries that don't actually charge at all, but significantly less than, let's say, US education. For instance, you can typically do an undergraduate degree in the range of about 20,000, depending on the country, in comparison to maybe 55 in the US. Obviously, by having residency rights for children, it's very useful for them to be able to maximize opportunity with regards to any internships that they may want to do. They can, of course, then easily get jobs in those particular countries. If the plan is for a child to be able to live and work anywhere in Europe, then obviously a citizenship program is the way to go, and that is what accesses and offers the most range of opportunity. But if we just go to the next slide, I can talk a little bit about each and individual country. As I said, it's very interesting. All of the countries mentioned and talked about this evening have really excellent education. We have, as I've said, we've seen more and more people come to Europe, often driven by the fact that the global trends at the moment for places like the US and Canada and Australia and the UK, which are the traditional destinations, are not particularly easy to go to with regards to potentially having visas refused or caps being put on student numbers. So we are seeing an increased number coming. Portugal, wonderful place. I personally live in Portugal and I will sing its praises. And it has some fantastic universities and schools, great international schools. Most of the universities are Lisbon and Porto based, but you have schools in the Algarve and across Portugal. Italy, its culture is superb. It has some of the oldest universities in Europe, and of course, its strengths in art and architecture and fashion and history, etc., means that there's something for everyone. And it's interesting because it's also expanding its post-study work pathways. So it's increasingly popular for families. Malta has some really good international schools. and a wonderful public university. And it's got several private universities, sorry, I can't speak, that offer a range of courses. And of course, again, they're taught in English, so accessible to everybody. If we look at the next couple of countries, we have Greece, that is interesting because, again, it's stepping up its internationalization efforts. And it's got something called Study in Greece, which is an initiative and has coordinated a strategy that has really promoted English taught programs, and it's streamlining digital platforms to ensure there's an increase in foreign students. So they're being really proactive in pulling in students. And to be quite honest, Europe is really doing well in capturing the students that are no longer wanting to go to the typical destinations that have traditionally been looked for. Latvia as well, affordable, excellent education, and it has some really good scholarships there as well. And we know it's also a destination for medical students. It's got some really excellent universities for medicine. So Europe, very, very popular. And because of the changes that are going on in the world, there's been a real shift in global destinations, and we are seeing more and more students wanting to go to other destinations. The UAE is particularly popular, Singapore as well, and we're seeing more Asian-based students going over to places like Japan, Malaysia, and South Korea. So watch this space because it is changing. But for any of you who are seriously considering either relocating with children or have children who want to study at university, I thoroughly recommend Europe as a destination. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tess. So we do have some questions. We've tried our best to answer those. Some are related to Malta. I took care of them. So I'm not sure if you have additional questions. There's a question related to the taxation in Malta. They're looking to understand the taxes if one is tax resident of Malta and invest in the EU stock for Malta. This we might have to look with someone more in details locally, I think, Peter.
You understand that taxes, if you are tax resident of Malta to invest in the EU stock, it depends whether you're under the global residence program or whether you're under the normal residence, and also
Permanent residency
depends
program.
whether you're non-domiciled, so whether you sort of moved to Malta recently. So if you've got a more detailed question, then just send it through to us, and we'll put you in touch. We can either answer it when we understand a little more in details which countries and what type of stocks, and whether how long you've been in Malta, or we can sort of refer you to a tax advisor in Malta. Yeah. There's another tax question there about the flat tax in Italy.
Jerry, I'll let you take over.
Yeah. So just say there's flat tax in Greece or Italy deductible against US worldwide income. I don't believe so, because it's not linked to the amount of tax. So I think to be creditable again in your US tax return, I think it has to be an income tax. But we can, I think, but that's what everybody's told us so far where we've tried to look at that.
As much as I would love to answer all the questions, we do encourage you to reach out to us on our website. There is a web inquiry section. You can choose what is your interest, what your question is related to, and we will get someone from any of us from all the countries you've heard about today, Tess or Peter, that will get back to you on your questions. I would like to thank everyone for taking the time to join us this evening or this morning, depending where you are. Please reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you with any services we can offer from our end. Thank you very much, and I wish you a good evening and a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.